Welcome to Your Future, Your Way, where we explore the many ways to reach your academic and professional goals. Whether you are a recent grad, considering career advancement, or even changing careers, this podcast is for you. There is more than one way to do higher education. This is Your Future, Your Way.
My name is Anna, and I'm an enrollment coach in the Division of Continuing Studies at the University of Wisconsin-Madison. Get ready for an application assistance takeover, where we share helpful tips to make your application stand out.
Before we start, we want you to know that the views, information, or opinions expressed in this podcast do not reflect the views of the Division of Continuing Studies, the University of Wisconsin-Madison, or the Board of Regents.
Today, we'll be sharing a previously recorded episode highlighting important tips specific to international students applying to a graduate program at UW-Madison. You'll hear from my colleague and fellow enrollment coach, Emma Davis, who will share more details about language proficiency exams, immigration documents, and funding your education as an international student. I suggest checking out our other application assistance episodes as well. We have episodes about collecting your application materials and letters of recommendation, writing your statement of purpose, and more. Visit pdc.wisc.edu/podcast to hear more. All right, now let's take a listen to our previously recorded episode with Emma.
Today, we will focus on the steps in the application and admission process that are unique to international students, including language proficiency exams, immigration documents, and funding your education. First, whether you're a domestic or international applicant, you should review the minimum requirements for admission to the graduate school by visiting grad.wisc.edu. Admission requirements and application materials vary by program, so it is also important to review the application information and instructions specific to your program of interest. You can visit the program's website to get application instructions. Another great resource is called the Graduate Guide, which provides overviews of the degree and capstone programs offered at UW. Search for your program of interest on guide.wisc.edu to learn about the admission requirements, course requirements, and other details specific to your program. If you have additional questions, an enrollment coach is always available to help by phone, text, or email. We'll go into more details about where to find their contact information at the end of this episode. Next, let's talk about what materials an international student needs to prepare. During the application process, international students should be prepared to submit official transcripts, English proficiency scores, and proof of funding. Let's start with official transcripts, which are only required if the program you apply to recommends you for admission, which means a program has reviewed a person's application and is recommending them for admission to the graduate school. An official transcript at this stage is required by the Graduate Admissions Office. For those of you who attended a non-English institution, if your school or institution does not issue transcripts in English, we will require an official translation of the entire original transcript with all course names and grades included. That translation must be completed either by the school or by an Education USA official within your home country or region. UW-Madison does not offer this service. Next up, English proficiency scores. The graduate school requires that every applicant whose native language is not English or whose undergraduate instruction was not in English to provide an English proficiency test score. The graduate school accepts Duolingo, IELTS, commonly called the IELTS, and TOEFL, commonly called the TOEFL. Visit grad.wisc.edu to find details about minimum score requirements. Applicants are exempt if your school's language of instruction was English, you earned a degree from an accredited U.S. school in the past 5 years, or you have completed at least 2 semesters at a school where English was the exclusive language of instruction in the past 5 years. If you're not sure if you fit those requirements, you can visit grad.wisc.edu/apply/requirements and select your country from the drop-down list to learn more. let's talk about one of our most common questions. What should international students know about submitting proof of funding? International students are required by the U.S. government to show proof of adequate funding to receive the proper immigration document and to apply for a U.S. student visa. Enrolling students who need an F1 or J1 visa will be asked to submit proof of funding for 1 full year of study at UW-Madison. So it's important for applicants to consider how they plan to finance their education at UW. We recommend preparing your proof of funding before submitting your application. You might be wondering how an international student gets a better understanding of their estimated expenses. Tuition is one part of the overall cost of attendance at UW. An applicant must also consider living expenses, international student fees, health insurance, and beyond. For more information on the cost of attendance and to estimate the expenses you might encounter while attending UW, visit the Office of Student Financial Aid at financialaid.wisc.edu. The most common question we get from interested students is if scholarships or other funding opportunities are available. U.S. federal and state financial aid is limited to U.S. citizens and permanent residents. However, there are a number of sources of aid available for international students. International students can start by checking out the International Student Services site at iss.wisc.edu, which has information for students on F and J visas. The Funding Your Education page shares the many ways international students can fund their education. Be sure to check out the funding policies specific to your program, as students enrolled in some graduate programs are not eligible to receive tuition remission from assistantships. I also want to share a bit more information about the International Student Services Office, which, as I previously said, is called ISS. The ISS advising team provides virtual advising, online resources covering topics on bringing your family to Madison and employment and how to get involved in international and student organizations and conferences. Visit their webpage, iss.wisc.edu, for answers to your international student questions.
This episode of Your Future, Your Way comes from UW-Madison Professional Programs, offering over 90 graduate-level programs including online and evening and weekend options for working adults. For more details, visit us at go.wisc.edu/pro.
Thanks for taking a listen to our previously recorded episode with Emma. We hope you found this information helpful as you prepare your application materials as an international student. We're always happy to help. An enrollment coach can answer questions about your program of interest, application materials, guide you to resources specific to international students, and more. Please feel free to reach out to coach@pdc.wisc.edu, and an enrollment coach will follow up. Thanks for listening to our Application Assistance Takeover. Best of luck with your application. On Wisconsin!
Join us next time to learn more about professional programs at the University of Wisconsin-Madison. Learn how to shape your future your way.